Well, today we begin day 105 in our journey through the Word. Uh, Again, great reading, and I hope you're enjoying it. The part that I enjoyed probably the best, and my paper's blowing here, but is starting to see the tie between uh, the writings of David's Psalms and as we learn and see more about David in our reading. And I'm going to read some from a reading today in Psalms 34 here at the end. But I wanted to touch base first on the passage that we read about. And this is out of 1 Samuel 20, verse 17. And Jonathan made David reaffirm his vow of friendship again, for Jonathan loved David as he loved himself. From the Hebrew meaning, I went to look that up because people so quickly want to pervert that meaning of the relationship between David and Jonathan. And the word that's translated out of the Hebrew says it's a human love for another, which includes a family. It's as a relationship, a human appetite for objects such as food, drink, sleep, wisdom, a human love for our God, or an act of being a friend. I just want to caution us that this is a true example of a deep friendship between two men, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is not perverted. The world wants us. There's so many in the world that want to make it that, but that's not what it was. It was a true deep friendship, a love as we would have for our parents or a fellow brother, or a desire for I love sleep. I love the chocolate layered dessert that my wife makes me for my birthday. Uh, that type of deep feeling between them. It's hard to tie. Don't tie that to food because it's not tied to food. That's just part of the definition that was used out of the Hebrew, tied back to that of food. The other thing in today's reading was Jonathan didn't want to think ill of his father. He didn't want to believe that his father would want to kill David. Yeah, I don't think any of us would want to have that type of feeling about our parent. He said, I know my father wouldn't hide anything like this from me. It just isn't so. But what we found through this in our reading today is the truth brought out anger, the truth brought out tears, the truth brought out a strengthened loyalty between David and Jonathan. Truth even brought out deception as Jonathan deceived his father, as David had to deceive the priest because he didn't want them to know that he's fleeing the king. And the truth that we found in today's reading, and as we read a little bit out of Psalms 34, is the truth brought out true fear. David feared for his life. I thought it interesting as David came to the priest and he asked him for something to eat, and the priest had nothing. And so he gave him the bread of the presence. And I really gave some thought to that. And it was a reminder to me that God was with David. God's presence was with David. God had already anointed him king, even as a young man. David sought after the Lord. He was a man after God's heart. But I also thought it was interesting that this particular priest also had the sword of Goliath. He was the man. He was the giant that God used David to slay. God was with him in that battle. God went before him in that battle. God fought that battle for him. And it is a reminder to us that God walks with us in those same types of battles. We don't walk them alone unless we try to go at it alone, and we try to do it on our own without seeking God. And we've seen that several times in our readings, that those who tried to do it on their own power have failed because God was not with them. Part of today's reading, I went back to the word refuge. Refuge, I looked up, and it means a shelter or protection from danger, a protection from trouble, a place of shelter, a place of protection, a place of safety. David talks about that in Psalms 34. And again, Psalms 34 is dealing with his time as he was in front of Abimelech, and he had to portray himself as insane because he feared for his life. He was in a foreign town, and so he was trying to just survive. But I'm not going to read all of this, but there are certain things in here I want to make sure and just read again as we close our day. I will praise the Lord at all times. I will constantly speak his praise. I will boast only in the Lord. He didn't say I'm going to boast in myself. I'm only going to boast in the Lord. Let all who are helpless take heart. I prayed to the Lord, and he answered me. He freed me from my fears. In my desperation, I prayed, and the Lord listened. He saved me from all my troubles. For the angel of the Lord is my guard. Take and see that the Lord is good. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, the joys of those who take refuge in him. Fear the Lord, you his godly people, for those who fear him will have all they need. The Lord hears his people when they call to him for help. He rescues them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. But the Lord will redeem those who serve him. No one who takes refuge in him will be condemned. No one who takes shelter in him, who comes to him for protection, who comes to him for safety, will be condemned. What great promises from David, who is running in fear from his life. He says he prays to the Lord, and the Lord removes that fear. He's willing to do that for you today, for me today. That same promise. For he is our place of refuge. We can take refuge in God. He offers that protection and that safety. And when I do, I will not be condemned in him. That is his promise. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you again Monday as we continue our journey through the Word.